Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. My name is Jordan. This is your 60-minute yin sequence. I'm so excited that you're here for tonight's or today's class, depending on where you are and in time and space. We'll need 2 blocks and a bolster. If you don't have a bolster, totally okay. You can use a big couch pillow. Maybe you have a thick blanket. You can roll up like a little burrito. That works great as well. We'll be focusing on compressing the abdomen and opening through the abdomen, kind of in a way to balance the Vata energy for fall, for this new and beautiful season, so we can stay grounded in the presence of this crisp, airy lightness of fall. We'll be holding our poses anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes. So feel free to make an adjustment, make any changes. You can come out of a shape at any time. Just listen to your breath. Take what you need. Yeah, this is your time. This is your practice. You make all of the decisions about what happens on the 4 corners of your mat. We will get started lying on the abdomen. So come on down, finding your crocodile shape. If that doesn't feel super comfy, cozy for you, you're welcome to take child's pose, maybe sinking the hips towards the heels and zipping the legs up together so that we can bring a gentle compression to the abdomen, the home of our vulnerable and vital organs. Wherever you are, begin to deepen the breath. If you're in your child's pose, perhaps you bring a block under the forehead or place a blanket over the calves so you sink the hips towards the heels. And allow the muscles of the face to soften, the jaw to unhinge. And bring an awareness to the space between the teeth, the whole top row and the whole bottom row. Noticing the space there and seeing how it feels to unstick the tongue from the roof of the mouth. Allow any resulting softness to expand. And continue sending the breath all the way down to the low abdomen. Noticing the body, how it reacts to each cycle of breath. Can we breathe 360 degrees into the torso? And if you're in your child's pose or any other shape, make your way to the abdomen, coming down to the belly. And we'll all extend the left arm out to the left and come onto the left ear and cheek, moving into a laying chest opener. You can take the right toes to the sky and gently guide the right toes up and over. Maybe they tap behind the body, or you can stack the ankles, or even kickstand the right knee in front, resting it on the earth or a bolster or a block. As we open up through the chest, and we'll be here for about 3 minutes on this side and the second side. Take what you need to embrace a little bit of softness, allowing your breath to become soft, even, steady. This first shape here, compressing the left shoulder, Maybe wringing out the spine. And if you do have the right knee bent and sole of the foot on the earth, bring an awareness to the space in the low abdomen, maybe the opening of the hip, spaciousness in the pelvis, the sacral area. And allow softness to take up space. Take one more full cycle of breath here, wherever you've landed. Maybe bringing an awareness to the very edge of your exhale, the temperature of the mouth as breath leaves the body. And slow and steady, we come back the way we came, moving mindfully. If you had the right toes behind, go ahead and extend the right leg long, using your right hand to negotiate your landing of the torso back flat to the earth. And we'll take the left arm long beside the body. And you can rest either on the right ear and cheek, on the back of the right hand, or just allow the head to rest on the right side on the earth. Maybe you'd even like to bend into the left elbow and bring the back of the hand to the low back. Taking 3 slow, steady breaths here. As you're ready, you can plant the left palm out in front of the face. Extend the right arm out to the right. And take the left toes up and over, finding your laying chest opener on the second side. Taking a moment maybe to notice if this side is unique in some way. Maybe it calls for something a little bit different. And keep in mind, we'll be here for about 3 minutes. So maybe we don't move right to our end range of motion or where we believe that to be. Releasing any physical agenda and allow the body to be breathed in these shapes. Noticing any tension that may arise, physical or energetic, maybe mental or emotional. And bringing an awareness back to that space between the teeth, maybe the heat, the very edge of your exhale, leaving the body. Take one more full cycle of breath here. Begin to guide the torso back through center, moving slow, mindful. We come back the way we came. And you can rest on the left ear and cheek, either on the back of the left hand or flat to the earth. And allow the right arm to extend long side the body, or bend into the right elbow and allow the back of the right hand to rest on the low back. Taking 3 slow, steady breaths here. Begin to come back to neutral. Planting the palms underneath the shoulders and press up through tabletop. And you're welcome to maybe take a cow-cat, moving slow. And we'll move into our melting heart shape. So if you'd like to grab a blanket to pad the knees, again, we'll be here for about 3 minutes. So it might be nice to have something a little bit soft underneath the knees. For me, and when my melting heart, I like to use a bolster underneath the chest, maybe at the middle of my rib cage, just to take some of the effort out of holding myself up here in this shape, allowing softness to take up space. So when you're ready, starting from your tabletop shape, begin to walk the palms forward, keeping the hips stacked over the knees. Making sure we're not dumping too much weight into our knees, into our knee joints. Maybe you even take a block and place it underneath the forehead. Or you can stack the forearms, bending into the elbows. Taking what you need here in this shape to melt the armor of the heart space. Allowing the abdomen to be long and easeful. And the chest to become heavy towards the earth. Maybe imagining you could breathe into every cell of the lungs. Keeping in mind our cells, they breathe with us, expanding and contracting as we move breath in and out of the lungs. Take one more cycle of breath here, wherever you've landed. As you're ready, begin to press up to your tabletop shape. We have two options here. You can take it forward, lying on the abdomen, your crocodile shape, maybe resting on one cheek or the other, stacking the palms, bringing the forehead to the backs of the hands. Or if you'd like, we can find a child's pose with the knees wide as you'd like them to be. Crawling the fingertips forward or stacking the hands to rest the forehead. Taking a moment to rock the forehead side to side. We're inviting any other small movements that feel intuitive to reignite the physical and energetic pathways through the body. And also welcome to find stillness between each shape. Allowing the body to expand and release with each cycle of breath. You can begin to press up, finding your tabletop shape, either from your child's pose or your crocodile. You may want to walk yourself up towards the top of your mat, towards the top of your space. And we'll find our saddle shape, our saddle pose, with a couple of different options. For me, if you'd like to join me in taking your bolster or your couch cushion or your rolled up blanket, placing it behind the body. You can also do this without reclining back. You can be sitting upright, kneeling, maybe placing a blanket over the backs of the legs, just to bring the seat up a little bit so we're not putting too much stress on the knees. Or you can sit up on a block, sitting up in a supported hero's shape, tops of the feet on the earth. And walking the palms back any amount, keeping in mind we want to allow our tailbone to stay long. So maybe gently tilting the pelvis towards the backs of the knees, seeing how it feels to be up tall here. And maybe this is where we'd like to stay to find our saddle shape. This is a wonderful place to be. Or you can sink the hips between the feet. And again, tilt the pelvis towards the backs of the knees and begin to recline, maybe to the forearms, maybe resting the back of your head on your block or your bolster. Taking some deep conscious breaths here. If there's some energy needed to exert itself to hold the body up in space, that's perfectly okay. As long as we're not exciting the muscles too much. And we'll be here for a little bit longer than our other shapes, about 4 minutes. Taking some deep breaths into the abdomen, the hips, the heart. Take one more full cycle of breath in your saddle shape. You can press into the palms, tucking the chin if you'd melted back onto your bolster or forearms to lift up, pressing up onto the palms. And we'll shift forward using your hands to help you lift up. Kick the legs over to one side and kick them out long. And you can take your bolster underneath your knees, or maybe you have a blanket you'd like to place under your knees. And we'll find our caterpillar shape or seated fold just to come back from our saddle shape, which can be a really intense shape to hold for a little bit of time. So take a moment, maybe roll the ankles, wiggle the toes. You're welcome to reach for something to elevate the hips. Give yourself a little bit of length and space in the spine. And when you're ready, in your upright position, take a deep breath in, lift the heart. And exhale here, pause, soften the shoulders, staying upright. Take another deep breath in, maybe reach the hands up overhead. And on your exhale, hinge forward by drawing the navel in, leading with the heart and allowing the tail to stay long. Moving just until we feel comfortable. Find a therapeutic and sustainable sensation. No pressure or overwhelming discomfort in the low back. If that's what's going on, maybe we walk it back just a bit. And then you can still round the thoracic spine, let the head hang heavy. So take what you need. And we'll pause here for 10 full cycles of breath. Maybe you take the heels a little bit wide, bend the knees so much so that maybe belly melts to the tops of the thighs. So more of a restorative caterpillar shape. Allow the head, the neck, the shoulders to soften. Maybe bring a block under the forehead if you'd like. You can begin to walk the hands in, gently lifting the head back over the heart, coming up to a neutral spine. You can take your bolster off to one side, keeping it within reaching distance. We're about halfway through, and we're going to have to make our way down to the back body. So if you'd like to grab a sip of water or maybe a blanket nearby for when we do eventually transition to our Shavasana shape, you're welcome to do that now. Now would be a great time to take care of anything in your space that needs your immediate attention. And then finding a nice gentle roll down to the back body. And when you arrive, maybe you stretch out long, And you'll reach for your bolster, bending the knees, and taking your bolster underneath the knees, scooching the heels up towards the seat. And you're welcome. We're going to move into our supported wheel. So if that's not someplace you want to explore today, totally okay. You can explore your supported bridge either with your bolster, a folded up blanket, or maybe a block. We will be moving to a variation of our supported bridge after our supported wheel, and then doing some shapes, taking the spine in the opposite direction, kind of regulating after holding those shapes for a little bit of time. But we'll start with our feet about hips width apart, snuggle the shoulder blades beneath the back body, lift the head, tuck the chin, and release it back down. Find some nice length in the back of the neck. And inhale to lift the hips just enough to slide your bolster either underneath the sacrum for supported bridge, or taking it just a bit higher to hug the natural curve of your spine. Maybe even a little bit higher. And you can either have the knees bent, that's where I would like to be, with my knees bent. Or you can maybe sprout the feet a little bit longer, maybe even reach the arms up overhead. Or if you'd like, you can take a variation of your pontoon with your supported wheel. Keeping in mind anything that could be described as sharp or painful, or even overwhelmingly distracting, that is not considered a therapeutic and sustainable yin sensation. And maybe we can recognize those pangs as an opportunity to make an adjustment. Again, letting go of any physical agenda when it comes to the shape we are making. Letting go of what it looks like and tuning in to how it feels to breathe in these shapes. It's okay to become frustrated, to find tension, and have to remind yourself to come back to the breath and reacquaint with softness. That's completely okay, totally normal. Maybe bringing awareness to the center of the chest, this blooming of the rib cage with breath, in whichever variation you've chosen. And breathe in a little bit of compassion, a little bit of space for surrender here. Take one more full cycle of breath here. If you had the legs extended long, slowly bend into the knees. And we have a couple of options. You can lift the hips, release, come to a flat back position, maybe hug the knees in towards the chest. Maybe you'd like to take the toes to the sky for a waterfall. From either variation, lifting the hips just enough to slide any props out from underneath. Or if you're in your supported wheel or supported bridge with your bolster, you can hug the knees in towards the chest here. Maybe just letting the toes reach back towards the short edge of your mat. Finding a variation of your snail shape. In vinyasa, we might call this plow or supported plow, but in yin, this is our snail shape, not going too far. Maybe you hold on to the backs of the legs just for a little bit of support, or allow the hands to rest at either side. You can also take it a bit further if you'd like. Again, mindful not to excite the muscles too much. Maybe you can compress the abdomen here with the knees or the tops of the thighs. Taking some deep breaths in whichever rebound shape you've chosen to land. If you're in your supported plow or supported snail shape, gently begin to come back the way you came, moving mindfully, maybe bracing the bolster with the forearms so that we can gently touch the toes back down. And we'll inhale to lift the hips and move the bolster down. And we'll all give the knees a little squeeze in towards the chest, maybe rocking side to side. And we have two options here. You can move into Supta Baddha Konasana, your reclined bound angle, taking the soles of the feet together, knees as wide as you'd like them to be, maybe making more of a diamond shape. Maybe you'd even like to rest them over your bolster, make it a little bit more restorative, or take a block underneath each knee just to take a little bit of tension, a little bit of pressure out of the hips. Or if you'd like, you can take your bolster or your couch pillow, whatever you've got hanging around, and take the edge underneath the hips, kind of like you're using it for supported bridge, and come into an elevated reclined bound angle, taking the soles of the feet together here, allowing the knees to drape open. Wherever you've landed, come home to softness. Keeping in mind the stillness born from rigidity is never the goal. The body is always moving. Lungs bloom with breath, hearts beat, minds wander. That's okay. That is part of the human experience. And it is to be expected. Even in a yin practice, the stillness here is more of a presence, gentle awareness of those things continuing on. in the body as we rest without judgment, resting the mind, not grasping or looking for sensation, physical, energetic, mental, or emotional, just allowing it to pass by. As we cycle through each round of breath, noticing the coolness of air as it travels in, maybe through the nostrils, and the warmth of the breath, the very edge of your exhale. How does it feel? Take another full cycle of breath wherever you've landed. We'll take our hands to the outside of the legs, of the knees, just to gently guide them back in. If you are elevated on your bolster, tuck the tail towards the sky, lifting the knees just enough to release the hips back down to the earth. And we'll find constructive rest here. Soles of the feet a little bit wider than the hips, knees gently knock in towards each other, maybe resting the hands on the abdomen. Noticing the temperature of the hands on the body, how it feels, points of contact your back makes with the surface supporting you. And as you're ready, we'll kick both legs long just for a moment. Maybe you'd like to give the hip creases a little bit of a rub. Point and flex the toes. Just stretch out long. And when you're ready, hug the right knee in towards the chest. Give it a squeeze. You may want to shift over towards the right side. We're going to be moving into our supine twist. But first, just give the right knee a little squeeze. Maybe rock it side to side. And take a deep breath in here. Pause. And on your exhale, guide the right knee up and over to the left, finding your twist. Maybe the right knee hangs out in space. Maybe the foot meets the earth, or we can reach for a block or a bolster to bring the earth up to meet the right leg. Maybe even bringing a blanket or sliding your bolster up along the right side of the body, just for a little bit of extra support here. Letting the physical body know that it's supported. Keeping in mind that relaxation or a softening in these shapes isn't from a collapse. It is from trust that we are held here. And finding a slow, steady surrender to the pull of gravity just by noticing a little bit of softness with each exhale. When you're ready, begin to guide the right knee back through center and kick it out long, extending the right leg just for a few breaths, allowing the spine to be neutral, noticing any sensations in the body after releasing from that shape. And when you're ready, hug the left knee in towards the chest. Give it a squeeze. And take a deep belly breath here. And a long breath out. One more inhale. And exhale, twist your left knee up and over to the right. Finding our supine twist on the second side. Maybe it looks or feels a little bit different than it did on the first side, and that's okay. Keeping in mind we can still cultivate balance in the physical and energetic body by doing two things that maybe don't look exactly the same. Allow the body to trust that it is being supported by adding maybe a block or a bolster underneath the left knee or thigh. Maybe resting the hands on the rib cage or the belly, allowing them to reach to either side. Maybe the gaze falls to one side or stays neutral. And begin to notice that space between the teeth, reminding the right glute to soften, the toes, the joints of the lower body to begin releasing. And come home to your breath. Take one more full cycle of breath here, inhaling completely and exhaling completely. Bring the torso, the hips back through center. You can kick the left leg long to meet the right. And finding a neutral spine for a few breaths. Or you're welcome to take constructive rest, feet wide, knees together. And if either of those feel like a suitable Shavasana shape, you're welcome to pause there to find stillness, presence with the body, how it feels physically, mentally, emotionally, and take rest. Or if you'd like, you can take your bolster underneath your knees. A little bit of lumbar spine support. We did a lot of back bending, heart opening, hip stuff, knee stuff, spine stuff. So it might be nice to Just elevate the knees a bit and take rest here, allowing the body to be breathed, to embrace a little bit of unbiased awareness to the gentle pull of gravity, allowing it to hold you softly here and rest in your Shavasana. You are welcome to stay in your rest shape for as long as you'd like, but I do want to respect your time and let you know the end of our hour has arrived. So if that's your cue to begin bringing the body back to wakefulness with care, I invite you to deepen the breath, bringing awareness to the air on your skin, sounds nearby, maybe wiggle fingers and toes. Windshield wipe the knees and stretch out long and curl in tight. When you're ready, make your way to one side or the other. And gently press your way up to a seat, whatever that feels like to you today. And we can take a cycle of breath together to celebrate this past hour spent in community doing yoga and honor the decision you made to fill your cup in this way today, to bring a little bit more presence to the world. You can join the thumbs together at the heart, Anjali Mudra. Maybe gently drawing the thumbs a little bit lower towards the rib cage, seeing if the heart lifts. And soften the shoulders, the face. Align the head over the heart, over the pelvis. Notice how it feels to be here, to be dynamically alive with your breath. And we'll take a deep breath in together. In through the nose. Pausing at the top. Embrace this fullness. Maybe take an extra sip. And exhale, sigh it out, let it go. Thank you for sharing your time and your practice, not only with me, but with each other. It's always such a treat to be here, to be your guide. So thank you. Namaste.